And we're live! Welcome back, everyone, to another session of the Wildlands campaign. That hex-crawling game that hasn't done a lot of hex-crawling lately. We are playing at a new time slot. We're trying out a weeknight... Huh? Sorry? We are trying out a new time slot. Seeing if a weeknight session will work for us. Because due to the many scheduling conflicts of having people on other sides of the opposite sides of the country, it is a challenge. As with any D&D group, the highest challenge rating monster is scheduling conflicts. So we are attempting to defeat that beast at the moment. We'll see how it goes. We're going to play a little over 2 hours of a session. Probably less than 2.5 hours. That is
Hello?
the plan. Hey, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. I just had to redo my settings. I had to do a hard reset of Windows this week because my computer was not happy.
Right.
So I had to reinstall and reset up every single thing. And I guess I didn't set up Discord voice properly.
Well, welcome back. I'm glad it is working. You actually sound loud and clear, which is great. Let's see. So, we're going to get Draco signing in here shortly, I believe. Yep, there he is. And I thought we were going to get Matt, aka Frasher, aka getting a new character soon, but I'm not entirely certain. Because I haven't heard from him. But I think that's the plan. Okay. Well, hopefully Matt makes it in. Okay. So let's play some D&D. So just take a moment, get into the adventurer's mindset. The troubles of the world, the real world go away. The world-ending catastrophes on the horizon come into focus in the Wildlands, and here we are. So, last time, you guys, it was a very interesting session. I think you rolled almost no dice. It was a big role-playing session. I have made a highlight of the most important bit on the Twitch channel, which I highly recommend you check out if you are interested in the big campaign secrets that were revealed in the last session. But it was awesome. There was a lot of excellent role-playing. But basically, Eldan Enderal, Bella Enderal's father, having been broken out of the Netherrealm prison within the giant ziggurat known as the Ushazat Pyramid, spoke to you all and told you what he had overheard and deduced during his time in prison. And it was quite a shock to some of you, on the level of things that have been set up from day one of the campaign, and on the level of the meaning of the gods, the pantheon, and on the level of the the greatest cult/criminal enterprise possibly imaginable. So it was some big stuff, but I think if some of the players haven't watched it or gotten the gist yet, I encourage the players who know it to give their interpretation. That could be fun. But I'm not gonna really try to summarize it too much. But basically, you found out that the gods have this cycle in the Wildlands where empires rise and fall, and when a civilization starts getting too great and powerful, too full of pride, and has too much hubris, one of the three great calamities ends that civilization. And that is what the Calamity League is all about. You also learned that the Netheros, a name which Eldan wouldn't even speak out loud, but only wrote in the dirt and then erased immediately, are attempting or have successfully subverted the power of these dooms and these catastrophes for their own purposes, with the ultimate goal of hiding their true intent from the gods, which is to take over the Wildlands with a permanent empire, breaking the cycle that the four of them will rule forever, unchanging. And they hide in the Nether Realm, which is the only place the gods cannot see. So with all of that heavy stuff, Vapos was very upset and got into an argument with Eldan. I don't want to summarize Vapos's argument too much, but he definitely could see the point of view of the cult that is against the gods, and the viewpoint that the many atrocities, the unthinkable atrocities of the Netheros, are even still not as great as what you might consider the guilt of the gods themselves for causing these empire-ending level catastrophes when they choose to continue the cycle. So, I think I'm going to end the recap there, but I accept to say that you are currently camped near the base of the Ushazak Pyramid, where there is a great big wake going on, an enormous funeral celebration, including fireworks, and some kind of crazy confluence of merchants and other people trying to make a quick profit during this I don't know what to call it, celebration, this enormous funeral but festive atmosphere, as the funeral of Duke Rothdal's sister, Lady Ayala Rothdal, is well underway, is continuing. You sleep through the night, and
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry. I took my headphones off. I didn't know you were still talking.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, when you awaken, it is the 22nd of Afisti, and you have slept, for the most part, deeply, but troubled by strange dreams and ominous portents in your dark sleep. What is your question?
How did Bella's dad know about all of that? Were people just talking about that in front of him?
He explained that basically the one who captured him, the pirate, the notorious bandit or thief king, or thief queen, I guess, Captain Puck LeBlanc, who captured him, is a double agent working to maximize her profit between Duke Rothdal and the cult of the Netheros themselves. And she was trying to force him to write a play to demonstrate that he is still a great bard, that he is the great bard he supposedly is, in order to help her do that. Because the Netheros are distracting the gods with these, by triggering these catastrophic dooms, in order to hide the fact that they are scooping up or kidnapping the great bards. It's all to hide. They're basically killing thousands to hide the fact that they are kidnapping great bards. And he thinks, Eldan theorizes that this is to, that they need the great bards in order to break the cycle somehow. And in order to create this new reality in the Wildlands with this permanent empire.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. That was a lot to summarize, but good question. Okay, guys. So you sleep through the night. You awaken on the morning of the 22nd of Afisti. And what would you like to do?
Well, Vapos has not really been sleeping. He really didn't sleep over the course of that night. He spent most of his time just thinking and in meditation. And so when morning rolls around, he will walk back into the camp and he'll check to see if Eldan is up and around.
I just remember there's one more very important thing that happened at the end of last session, which is just as you were all going to sleep, an enormous ship flew overhead with many strange creatures peering out of the portholes of said ship. And it flew off in the direction of West Head. That was the note we ended on. You look around the camp. You look around the camp and that you guys have, and you see Bella probably would be helping Eldan out of his tent this morning. He's still unable to really walk around.
Okay. Vapos will go and try to start helping him as well. Just to give Bella a bit of a break. And Vapos will just say, "Good morning, Lord Enderal. I would like to apologize for my conduct last night. It was a bit unbecoming to shout and become angry with you so soon after your escape."
Lord Enderal, oh, that's very kind of you. Apology accepted. I know you shorter-lived races can sometimes have a knee-jerk reaction to things, and I understand. He has these old wrinkled hands, and he kind of pats your the old elf pats your hand on his arm, and he says, "Help me to that stump over there by the fire. I think we need to dry the morning dew out from these creaky joints."
Of course. It would be my pleasure.
And, I mean, probably goes without saying, but Bella's pretty much glued to her dad. She's not going to let him get more than a few feet away from her if possible.
He appreciates that, you can tell. Well, what are you all going to do now? I have said what I needed to say to you, I think. But I would appreciate it if we, if you would help me get somewhere, Bella, that has a nice warm bed. Much as I enjoyed the tent last night, I think there was a rock under the part where I was sleeping.
I was thinking that since you were talking about how you think Westhead might be hidden from the people who are looking for you, we struck up a friendship with with an innkeeper there who's very sweet and has wonderful rooms. I think that might be a good place for you to recover. I know that she would take good care of my father if I asked her to.
Oh, well, that sounds perfect.
I don't know how much longer we plan to be here, but that also has the benefit of being where we're staying for the time being.
Good. Well, that sounds excellent. Let's go there.
Forgive me for saying so, but there may be a bit of a snag in that plan that we need to overcome. There have been many guards at the entrances to the town of Westhead, and if I'm not mistaken, some of them were in the employ of your prior captor. It would seem that we might need to come up with a way to disguise you.
I can
Devil on one side and demons on the other. It's either be taken by them, or the Duke will get me.
I can polymorph him into something inconspicuous.
Ooh, polymorph. You have some hidden depths, young man.
Thank you, I like to think so.
That doesn't seem like a bad idea. Even like a dog or something that no one would really question.
I imagine somewhat...
Questioning why we had it and questioning in the sense of trying to interrogate.
Right. Although, I imagine someone as powerful as your father would be able to take on even more powerful forms. But if we want to be inconspicuous, then yes, a dog or something small like that would be just fine.
Uh, you would have me be a canine? It
Well,
seems.
as I said, you could be something much grander than that. I imagine you're very powerful. As I'm sure you know, the might of the spell is based on the person being transformed, not the person doing the transforming.
You might say I am powerful on the stage.
I do not doubt it. What form would you prefer?
Oh. Uh, what do you think is best, Bella?
Oh, like I said, something that wouldn't draw too much attention, something that you'd expect to be traveling with a group of adventurers. I'm not sure that a
Well, that could be
humanoid is a
anything.
good idea just because they'd question you, but if you think that you're up to the challenge, be my guest.
Hmm. Well, I suppose a dog is fine then, or a cat, or a bird.
Any of those. I thought pet would be a good one just because, no one would really have any reason to question why someone would be traveling with a pet.
Perhaps a fierce falcon.
Ooh, I could do that. Could do that. It only lasts for an hour though, so we need to make sure that we are where we want to be before I do the transformation. Or if we take longer than an hour, then he'll revert back to his normal form.
I see.
But yeah, no, Falcon should be no problem.
This
Max,
is
I'm
sounding a
assuming-
lot better than my idea of making a wig out of the moss we slept on and using that as a disguise. In retrospect, I don't think that would work.
We'll call that Plan B.
Max, I'm assuming that CR wise, Mr. Enderall is definitely strong enough to that I could turn him into a Falcon, right?
I don't remember what the restrictions are.
Basically, whatever his CR is the CR of the animal he can turn into, which I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's higher. He's higher than CR 1/4.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm pretty sure he can do it. I was just making sure. I don't know. Bella has surpassed him. I don't know.
Depends who you ask.
Well,
I definitely surpassed a falcon.
I'm ready to do that whenever we are within an hour of a West Head.
I think we're like a day's travel away.
If all else fails, I can probably talk my way in if necessary.
We've got your back
I'm
too.
sure you could. I just don't want to. Better to avoid trouble if we possibly can. We'll find enough as it is.
Better to keep me secret and safe. Mammoth's screen name is in fine form this evening. Chat. Alright, so you guys want to set out on a journey. That leaves the question of conveyance. I am not really in shape to be walking a great distance.
I can always pick you up again.
That is very kind of you, but not ideal. Do you have any other options?
Akiri's gonna whisper the go. Jaco, how many times can you cast polymorph in a day?
I'm afraid that I only have one use of that particular spell. I'm still kind of new to casting it.
That's what I was afraid. Okay. My suggestion was going to be to get like polymorph someone into a horse and just carry him like that. But since I guess we can't.
Well, point of order. That I can only do it for an hour. Yeah, no, that wouldn't work.
Too bad we don't still have that pet giant spider.
Right? I was just thinking that myself.
If
Who
we could
would
take
have
a.
known that a
we-
giant spider would be useful in so many different situations?
Oh wait, can't Do we like? Are we is Typha and Thrasher like gone now? Like, are they not here?
I to be honest, I was going to have Matt and Lindsay here for that conversation.
Well, I was
for their
the reason
characters. But they are extremely eager to go follow the flying ship and talk to Stray. They just keep saying, "Oh, we have to talk to Stray."
Okay, well, that's still in the direction of Westhead, right? Can't Typha transform into a horse?
I suppose she could,
I don't know how
but
long
only
Wild
for
should
an
last.
hour.
Okay.
Perhaps
I mean,
you could purchase a palanquin from one of these merchants.
Or maybe
That
rent.
seems appropriate, don't you think?
very, very concealed and incognito. I like it.
Well, concealed? I mean, they usually come with a curtain.
Yes, they also tend to be a bit ostentatious. Did I use that word right?
You
Yeah.
did. Yeah, well, ostentatious, perhaps. I don't suppose gilded carriage driven by two identical white horses is an option, but I have ridden on wheelbarrows and handcarts in my time as well.
Kiri's kind of like giggling a little bit because holy cow, is this guy a little she's not used to like people like being this ostentatious.
You can
Really
see
aware.
him grinning at Bella every time he says something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's out of the question to find some form of transportation here. Maybe we should look for some form of cart or something that we could use. Draco's laugh. Draco is like stifling laughing because he can see what's going on too.
Needs must, I suppose.
Perhaps we could even find some people heading back to Westhead. They have a cart and they need a little bit of protection for the road. We could be their hired help.
I like it.
Well, it's not very incognito, but it's up to you, really.
We're a large group. It's going to be hard to remain hidden in any capacity, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm more looking for a way to be incognito when we're actually entering the city. But, it'll be, if you absolutely must travel by palanquin, I'm sure that we can work something out.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, is someone going to go into the marketplace?
I would not mind doing this. I did find a few gold pieces scattered about in the or in the pyramid that I think this would be a good use for.
No doubt you gathered many treasures from raiding the ziggurats.
Well, speaking of treasures, this might, while we're waiting for Vapos to come back, might be a good opportunity to discuss a really big problem we have.
Yes, yes. But young blue man, before you go,
Yes.
be certain we're going to need some victuals for our journey. It's a day's walk to the city. Unless you have some other convenience.
So it is. I will. Or I'll see about getting some more supplies as well.
Oh, yes, good. Oh, and young man, would you please get me some sort of writing materials? I'm sure they have quills, parchment, an ink. Don't forget an ink pot.
I have all of that. Ada, you can just raid my bag.
Oh, yes, of course. My daughter is a great writer, you know. I should have expected that. I'm sorry, Bella. Yes, I don't want to reduce your supply.
No, we'll get some more when we get to town.
Do you have some Blue Castle 27 ink? I'd prefer that if you...
Only in powder, but I think that we can probably reconstitute it. It doesn't travel very well.
Yes. Oh, young man. It would be excellent if you could find a some small, probably musical instrument, a small harp. I'm sure they have something there. I would even be satisfied with a rustic reed pipe, something to. After all, I'm going to have to keep all of your spirits up while I'm being carted around in style.
Though Vapos is clearly exhausted, he has the patience of a stone, and he just bows and says, "Of course, sir. Is there anything else that I can get for you?"
Oh, what a good young man you are. Thank you. I think that will do. It sounds as though my famous author daughter is going to have all of the other supplies I might require for the moment.
Excellent. I will return as soon as I can.
Vapos, do you mind if I come with you? I think you might need help carrying so many things.
I would appreciate the help. Yes, thank you.
All right, I'll go with Draco. I'll go with Vapos.
Well, people need help carrying things. That's what I'm here for.
Well, somebody had better stay and break down the camp.
All right, I'll break down the camp. I'll make sure all the moss is in order. Since we're
Very important.
not using it as a wig.
Cordy would be proud.
Which is fine. It's fine.
So you guys, you walk toward the pyramid and you find there's all these tents that have been set up near the base. There's kind of a festive atmosphere since the funeral is still going, and there's quite a lot of business being done. In particular, you have no trouble finding various people with hand carts that you can make an offer on. They are selling one in pretty good condition for 15 silver pieces.
Okay.
And You can also find a reed flute, and a small traveling harp. There's surprisingly a musical instrument shop that has been set up that sells music notation and musical instruments. It's as though he knew that. But also, Draco, your eye catches, is it the Singing Stone or the Floating Stone?
I'm not sure.
Typha mentioned there was a magic shop.
I thought it was the Floating Stone.
The Floating Stone. No, it's not the Floating Stone. Shoot. Well, there is a magic shop there.
Okay.
That is perhaps of interest.
Sure, why not? Draco will take a little bit of a detour and see if there are any magical spell tomes in the magic shop, particularly ones with evocation spells.
I have this written down somewhere. It could be in... Yes. Are you looking for something specific?
Nothing specific, just any form, he's just looking for evocation spells because they're cheaper.
I see. He just wants scrolls.
Scrolls, or if he can find it, if they happen to have any spell books that have, I imagine scrolls are maybe less expensive because it's just one spell. So if it's a scroll, that'd be great. But if there's spell books that have some useful spells in them too, he would consider it. But yeah, probably mostly scrolls, since those are probably less expensive.
Okay. He does in fact sell scrolls here.
Excellent.
Perhaps you can even afford them. He has a scroll of burning hands, a scroll of magic missile, and a scroll of lightning bolt are all the evocation spells he has.
How much for the... I'm taking to the shopkeeper. How much for this scroll of burning hands?
He offers it to you for... He kind of looks you up and down, well-dressed Draco. And he offers it to you for 100 gold pieces.
Ah! Oh my, that's a bit out of my price range. So he'll put the scroll back and just say it. That's all right.
What's your charisma?
Huh?
What's your charisma?
My charisma is... Why am I not... Oh, 13.
13?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. as you start leaving, he immediately comes down, way down in price. Seems he wants to make a sale of that scroll.
Okay.
He says 50. 50
It's definitely not
yours.
cursed.
He kind of like winces at that price, but that is more affordable. And he considers it for a moment. He says, would it be possible to bring it down to 46?
Yeah. You don't even have to roll.
Excellent. Yes, I will take the scroll, please.
Cool. You fork over 46 pieces of gold and gain a scroll of burning hands.
Excellent. Now I just need to save up to put it in my book.
All right.
I will then go find Vapos because I did promise I would help him carry things.
Yeah, so Vapos will go ahead. He's only got gold pieces on him. So is he okay making change for the 15 silver?
Yeah,
He
in
gives
this
the merchant
in
gold?
this marketplace, there's a lot of people of different kind of socioeconomic levels rubbing
Okay.
shoulders, and you don't really, they're not so. Yeah, they can make change.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll pay the 15 silver. It's 10 silver per gold, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I'll pay that for the carriage, and then how much do the reed flute and the harp cost?
Oh, you getting both?
Well, how much? Like, what are each of their prices?
The harp will run 15 pieces of gold, and the flute will be 5 silver.
We'll go with the flute.
Okay.
And then I will also. I've still got plenty of rations and stuff, but I will see if I can find something for him to eat throughout the day that's a bit better than the adventurer's tack that he passively aggressively didn't complain about.
Nice. Yes, actually. There is some fresh fruit and preserved fish on offer from Waturum.
Perfect.
All right, you are loaded up.
All right. Then yeah, once I've got all of that, I will head back.
Okay. With your shopping completed, you guys return back to the camp that I assume the rest of the party is broken down at this point. You're wheeling a kind of a hand cart, and Eldon takes one look at it and says, "Well, I hope you've got some pillows or something."
We got moss.
Griff really wants to use the moss.
Moss is very appropriate. Highly approved.
It's breath tested. Great Bard approved.
Still might want a blanket or something.
I have a bedroll.
I have a cloak.
Oh, yes. Would you loan me that cloak again? That was very comfortable last night. A very fine cloak, in fact.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep it if you like.
Oh, well, thank you. That will make it my first worldly possession. since imprisonment. Thank you. You're very kind, daughter.
My apologies for not acquiring some of those other creature comforts, but you will find in the cart that we did manage to procure you a reed flute, and also some more appropriate victuals.
Excellent and well done. I appreciate it. It will be nice to have a few creature comforts out here after my ordeal. I truly appreciate it.
It is my pleasure.
Well, you load him up and you guys get on the road, I think.
How is the cart being pulled?
That's the question. Who's going to pull it? Or push it?
So it's just like a hand cart, right?
Yeah.
We can all take turns, yeah.
Ah, good. Bella, I don't suppose it wouldn't be proper for me to have a stick or something to steer? Could just tap you on the shoulder, one side or the other.
Perfect. Yes,
Excellent.
absolutely.
All right. We're going to skip the overland travel bit here because it's extremely easy. And he gives you all advantage anyway for playing the flute as you go along. Playing a beautiful tune the whole day, basically. At last you come to the high, impressive walls of Westhead, with its towers and the great ducal palace looming out of the fog over the city. And as you enter, as you come to the gate, I think Draco wants to cast a spell.
I do indeed. Draco comes up to Mr. Enderal and says, well, sir, if you're ready, I would like to cast my spell so we may disguise you properly.
Excellent. Bring on the falconry. My lips are tired and I would prefer to go beaked.
Excellent.
Very good with that.
Draco will say some magic words and wave his staff in the air, and there will be the form of a long brass dragon will sort of start to swirl around Mr. Enderal as his form begins to shrink down as feathers grow out of his body. A long beak, well, not long, they don't really have long beaks, but a sharp curved beak extends from his mouth, and he transforms into a little falcon. And Draco just kind of does a elaborate bow and says, "It is done. We have a bird friend for an hour."
The falcon kind of bobs its head at you, and then flaps over to Bella, where it perches on her hair bun, keeping a sharp lookout.
How big is your hair bun? That's impressive.
I'm imagining Nico turned him into a kestrel, which is an incredibly tiny bird.
No. I would make Mr. Enderal a much more impressive falcon.
All right, so you guys enter the city. They check you over carefully.
Yeah, sorry, before that, does somebody want to get in the handcart so that we've got a reason for why we've got a handcart with us?
Excellent thought.
It still has moss and a blanket in it.
Draco will happily oblige.
Okay.
All right.
Carry me, peasant.
Wait, he does have that air of like, I'm sitting where Mr. Enderal sat. Look at me.
Is Vapos pulling the cart?
Sure. in his standard monk clothes.
He's just like, Vapos, if it were anyone else, it would be a heavier weight. I mean, think if breath were up here. It just only makes sense.
Who is in the lead?
I'm assuming Bella.
Billy, you there?
Yeah, probably. Makes sense.
Okay.
By the way, Akira, could you send a message to Mother and ask her to meet us at the inn sometime after an hour and a half from now?
Sure. She's gonna do that real quick then.
You send a message to Ariella Beaumont. And what do you say?
Hi, Mr. Beaumont, Security, Bertrand, the fellas. She's asking that you meet us at, out of character, what was the name of the inn? Scarlet Ford.
Oh, I removed it from the map by accident. It's over here for some reason.
Cool. Meet us at the Scarlet Ford, in half an hour.
No, an hour and a half.
Oh. Okay, what's more?
Sorry, what?
She's gonna resend.
Oh, okay. The message comes back.
Sorry, I meant hour and a half. End message.
Alright, she responds, "Oh, very well. There is quite a lot going on. Oh, yes, an hour and a half then. Very well. It shall be done. But you may not find what you are looking for."
That's freaking ominous.
Yeah?
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, totally.
You come up to the gate, Bella. The northern gate up here. If you're looking at Roll20. And you are greeted by the guards. Now, there is a sense of tension amongst the Order of the Sacred Bull guards here. They look you guys over carefully. They kind of do a double take at the bird on your hair. But seeing as you guys look like adventurers, they don't question it over much. They tell you that all of your weapons will need to be peace bonded again. And they start going down the line, charging you each 1 gold piece.
My short bow was actually still peace bonded. I did not ask them to remove it when I left.
Okay, so it's going to be 1 gold piece per item that you are registering. You're going to have to register it as you enter the city. And they kind of look you up and down.
Are they seriously going to peace bond my dagger?
The dagger. So they have this plank of wood that's about 1.5 feet long, and for all bladed weapons, they hold it up, and if your weapon is longer than the plank, then it must be peace bonded. Your dagger, however, is short enough that you do not have to pay.
Excellent. I like being a wizard.
However, they do ask if you are a wizard, noting your general look.
I don't know if you can tell I'm a wizard by the everything of me.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, yes, very astute. I'm impressed.
Spellcaster, eh? Well, we're going to need you to sign these papers.
Okay, can I scan over the papers, see what they're all about?
It's essentially agreeing to cast no hostile spells while within the walls, on pain of various fines and criminal penalties. They would peace bond your. They would tie if you had a bag of components, they would tie it shut, but you don't. Instead, they just tie a little red string around your staff.
Fair enough. Draco will ask, is there any, I suppose, exception clause for self-defense?
He says, you've got a dagger for self-defense. Are you questioning the ability of the Order of the Sacred Bull to keep you safe? Or the Griffin Riders? And he points up at the sky, where there are in fact several knights with lances and pennants swooping around over the walls.
I speak up at this point. Sir, one of my very good friends was murdered in these walls not a week ago, maybe a little more. So,
are you making
forgive
a formal
me, but
complaint?
Yes, I do doubt your abilities.
They look at each other. Well then, I guess we had better get you some additional reassurance. And wait right here. The guards go into the gate to get something.
You know, I was okay with signing the paper. It's fine. Like, we didn't have to get them more angry.
Draco, when you were sent here before, it was you had traveling papers from Ratlor's Investigations, Inc. So you didn't have to deal with this nonsense.
Right. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be why I'm confused about it now. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. But Draco will emphasize, like, I'm all right with signing the papers. Don't worry about me. I don't want us to get held up anymore.
Bella, as you are in the lead, you see them coming back, leading a 7-foot-tall suit of black armor that seems permanently enshrouded in a dark cloud of mist, perhaps, or evil magic. A palpable aura of dark magic surrounds this figure, and it carries a tremendous sword, a 6-foot-long sword, battle-scarred. You recognize this type of figure. I've seen them before in the city, and they're pointing out Breath.
Oh, no, Breath. You have really got to come take a look at this thing that's coming out to see you.
And I do.
Okay. They come up to you, and the armored figure pulls out this parchment. You see this black this black armored glove holding up a conscription form, and there is a drawing of your face on it.
I'm afraid that's no longer binding. I'm no longer lycanthrope.
Time of war, comes a voice from within the suit of armor. It echoes weirdly.
But that only applied when I was a werebeast. I'm no longer a werebeast.
Time of war. Conscription. Come.
I think you'll find, if you look at the papers I signed, that's no longer valid.
Come.
I'd like to step in here and say, sir, I understand that you have all the rights in the world to conscript anyone who is abiding under such a curse as lycanthropy, but as my friend is saying, he was fortunate enough to have the curse cured, and therefore I believe you'll find that the right of conscription no longer applies to him.
Your words seem convincing to the Order of the Sacred Bull, and their faces blanch, the guards, the regular guards. Their faces blanch, and they look at each other, and they seem remorseful. The black armored helmet turns slowly toward you, however, and a voice emerges. Stand aside.
Sir, I understand and respect the nature of the document that you're holding, but I do think that you'll find that it is not applicable to my friend. I'd like to make some kind of a persuasion check here.
Okay, go for it.
Sorry, now getting over my character, that part of my character sheet.
What's your charisma, and what's your are you proficient in persuasion?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I'm +8, I just rolled it.
Okay. The black armored figure, totally unmoved. It has no reaction whatsoever to your words. And it simply repeats, stand aside. And the black armored gauntlet points at Bref. Come. However, the humanoid guards say, Officer of the Duke, just a moment. And they call out a superior who happens to be a Minotaur and start explaining the situation. And the superior officer is actually of a height with the black armored figure, looks into its eye slits and says, I don't know if you can understand me, thing, but there will have to be a delay. We will file the paperwork for this man, but there will have to be a delay. The armored figure seems to accept this and turns toward Bref and says, "Report to castle one day." And then it turns and stalks back through the gate.
I would like to take a moment to celebrate that, Max, during that whole time you were doing the really awesome, cool, creepy voice, you did not break up once.
Nope.
I finally figured out what I was doing wrong that caused that. See, I was leaning into my microphone, and it doesn't like that. It doesn't like that because probably my plosives were impacting the microphone and causing it to stop. So that was the secret all along, I think. Also, I wasn't using the voice modifier. Maybe that helps too. Okay. Recognizing Bella and you guys somewhat, they actually let the rest of you in without having to pay any further fees. Well, they let Bref in that way anyway. Just fortunate because he has a lot of weapons.
Hooray!
They still peace bond everything though.
I appreciate your assistance. That was, I'll be honest, that was pretty intimidating.
What is he?
You guys
Period.
enter West Head, and as you come within the walls, you are once again overwhelmed with the energy of the city. It's bustling. There's always like kind of people standing on street corners, arguing and raising their fingers and voices. There's always a sense of kind of people rushing about and looking over their shoulders at the especially at the Duke's palace that looms over the city. But there are two new things looming over the city that were not previously here. Ships. There is a ship in the central square that some of you will recognize. A tall ship that seems to have landed there without the aid of any water. Also, in the Duke's Harbor, over to the east, taller than the walls, are these great red sails of some enormous, truly enormous ship. And along its sides are these huge ballistae with that you can actually see some of due to the size of the ship. And these two ships, one on sea and one on land, are competing with the rest of the skyline, with the fossilized wreck of the Vargos down south, the tremendous bridge over the ocean just down the coast, and of course the Ushazak Pyramid, which we have left behind. At this point, it is dark. It is dark outside. You have spent the whole day traveling and had an exciting time coming into the city. What do you guys want to do?
Well, I, for one, want to know exactly how the Scarlet Fork is doing and what the hell my mother was talking about.
Agreed.
Okay. You make your way across the city to its more or less center, to Heaven's Plaza. You see in the center of this square, the large open square, Stray's ship with the great big letters painted on the side. The Traveling Menagerie. All manner of strange calls, hootings, and ululations come from within the tremendous ship. And there are these sort of velvet ropes that organize the long lines of people waiting to get inside. And it says, there's a little sign at the end of the beginning of the line that says entrance fee 10 gold pieces. And that 10 is crossed out. And it says 1 silver.
Damn.
There seems to be some fine print on the sign. However...
Enter at your own risk.
Well, it says children's price. But, your view is perhaps dominated or pulled away from Stray's impressive flying ship to the Scarlet Fork, or perhaps I should say, what's left of it. For there is a gaping, smoking hole in the eastern side of the building that's matched by a lot of debris and another hole on the western side of the building. And there's a trail of smoke coming out from within.
Wow.
Oh boy.
That's not good.
As you approach, you see Clara Swithrana standing outside of the building, looking a little distraught with an armload of papers.
I'd imagine she did.
Are we close enough to talk? Or like, are we walking up to it?
Yep, you just walked up.
Oh, what happened?
She looks over and she says, "Oh, you made it back." We'll say that Typha and Frasher, they make a beeline for Stray's ship, the Traveling Menagerie. She says, "Oh, you made it back. Oh, I'm so glad. Welcome back."
What on earth is happening? Why do I feel like this is our fault?
She looks around, she says, "Well, I don't blame you, but that was done by Captain Puck LeBlanc, who was looking for you. We've only just managed to put out the fire. It's been burning since yesterday."
I suppose that makes sense.
Does it?
Stupid way to try
Does
to
it
find
make
us.
sense? Did you know she works for the Duke, that pirate?
That wasn't quite what I meant.
I don't think it makes any sense. It's unacceptable. She was looking for you, and when she didn't find you here, she did that.
Well, we'll definitely do everything we can to help you get the place up and running again as quickly as possible.
I don't know. Maybe I should just sell it. Join the rebellion.
Well, that sounds like a very personal decision. But whatever you decide, we'll do our best to help you because I feel very responsible for this.
It was the worst timing, too. Right when I was going to do my best business when the traveling menagerie is in town.
Well, not to... Where are you planning on staying tonight?
Oh, I'll be fine. The insurance will more than pay for it, honestly. I had just gotten the walls the way I liked them. And I was fond of my current crop of, well, everyone who is staying here to be interested in you folks, the Wanderers. That reminds me, I have a couple of letters.
Oh, good.
And she produces... some letters. One addressed to Mavra and one addressed to Draco.
Oh.
I managed to save these from the blaze. Only a little bit singed.
Thank you very much.
Are we any chance of getting Danielle soon?
Seems unlikely.
Tonight?
Yeah, probably not.
Oh,
Just
man.
the day was a lot for her.
That's a bummer. Okay. Well, I have a handout. But I don't think she'd mind if I shared it with all y'all.
While you're getting that up, Ruff is going to say, completely oblivious to different ways it could be taken. You know, if you're looking to rename this, you could always name it the Pirate's Hole now.
Not bad. It is a little more exciting than the Scarlet Fork, I suppose. The letter reads, Mavra, I miss you. Foldrick is very ill, and I fear for his life. We have talked when he is not coughing, and I do understand why you left. You could not bear to stand by any longer. It is so good to know you have found something in your journeys. I know little of the evil being you write about, but he is now officially an enemy of the Battlehammer and Barrelhearts. I do think I know of the twisted armies in the thing below the mountain. A lair exists way down deep, inhabited by something evil and powerful. I had thought we defeated him long ago, but I believe it possible he may awaken. I do know what such a being would want from him too. The Golden Book of Psalms, inscribed with the words of our greatest bard, Kundrig Chainbraid. It was his greatest, most powerful work, but was lost in the Battle of the Deep Forge. I was there, and saw it cast into the abyss, no doubt recovered later, after the battle with the twisted servants of the Illithid. Even now it is difficult to remember what they look like, part of their magic. But I remember the Golden Book, falling. Chainbraid has never been the same since. If we are to stop this attack, we must gather allies. It will take an army, and not of dwarves. So many are sick here. I am glad you got away before the pink chill truly struck. We are fortunate to have the aid of one gold hair, but Deldan will be far too weak to defend against a truly determined attack. Thank you, daughter. I love you.
All right, heavy shit.
We're into like Dragon Age Origins territory here. Gotta raise an army.
I don't have a handout for Draco's letter. Seeing as I know what I know, Nico.
Yeah.
But it reads, the gist of it is don't worry about the silence. I know that you are doing the right thing. I hope that you will be able to come to me soon, for I am in dire need of your help.
Bye, guys. It's been fun.
You seem upset. What's happened?
I'm not sure, but someone very important to me is asking for my help, and I would be lying if I didn't confess that I would like to be at her aid as soon as possible.
Well, where is this person?
Shoot, I don't remember. Max, where is she? What did I say she was? I think did I give a specific location?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. She's
far to the east.
She's a noble woman far to the east. I did a job for her a long time ago, and she was in dire need when I helped her then, and if she's saying she's in dire need now, then it must be very serious. I do believe I should go and it's so hard. What you all are doing here is so important as well, but I can't ignore this. He looks really conflicted because like he doesn't want to leave you guys because like what y'all are doing is important, but he also looks like he really, really, really wants to go help this lady.
Well, if you have to go, you have to go.
Clara says, it's the middle of the night, almost. Maybe you should rest first?
Oh, yes, of course. I wouldn't leave. Now, if I even leave, I don't know. I need some time to think. Yes. Where should we rest?
Make a concentration save for me.
Oh, sure. That's Constitution, yeah?
Yeah.
11.
Bella, you are suddenly crushed by by your father as he snaps back to his elfin form. Ah!
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot about that.
I can tell. Oh, thank you for breaking my fall, darling. I'm quite all right. I'm quite all right. Oh, it's Ariella. Your mother's walking up at this moment. She comes hurrying up, hustling and bustling, and says, "Oh, look! You saved him! How are you, you ancient relic?" He says, "Quite all right, but a little worried about the inn we were going to stay at. The Scarlet Fork is now the Smoldering Fork. Sorry, Miss Claremont, was it? It's only a joke." She says, "That's all right. I have other papers and letters that I was holding for people I've got to sort out, but well, it's not a very pleasant place to sleep at the moment. But you could figure something else out and meet me here later if you wish."
I suppose that's probably for the best. But like I said, we'll be back, and I don't know if you can recommend someplace else to stay that would be as comfortable.
Well, there's no one as comfortable as the Scarlet Fork was before that awful pirate smashed it. I can't believe it. But I told her you weren't here. Where else? Where else can you stay? That wouldn't be too terrible. I suppose it might be best if you went to stay with Captain Sutherland. He has a house down by the docks and lots of empty space. I'm sure if you will tell him of your adventure, he'll be happy to put you up for the night at least.
Well, we do owe him a great debt already, but I think he could probably stand to be owed a little bit more.
Oh, he certainly could.
All right, well, if you want to come with us, Mother, or if not, I just thought you'd want to know that Father was all right.
Ariella and Elden have kind of been muttering to one another, and she looks at you and she says, "Well, you certainly got him out of a jam that he got himself into. It sounds like we really have a problem with this Captain LeBlanc, don't we?"
So it would seem.
Well, if you and your friends are in need of any extra coin, there will be some openings amongst the Lady Thornsey players in the near future. You will have the opportunity, if you can manage it, to earn a few extra coins. But it's very good of you to be taking care of your father this way. "Our daughter," says Eldan, "is the most extraordinary person. Why,
Extremely embarrassed.
she has become an adventurer, not just a famous author. That's very nice. I suppose I'd better help you get to wherever you're staying tonight." Oh, well,
I suppose Captain Sutherland's at the docks.
The arrangements are quickly made, and you guys have a place to stay for the evening. Captain Sutherland just requires that you get him an ale from somewhere, and tell him about your adventures and misadventures in the pyramid, and did his method work, and how does he need to refine his tips on getting through the labyrinth.
I'll make a performance check to really tell the shit out of the story.
No need to roll. You really tell the shit out of it. Ariella, Bella, you can tell from knowing your mother and father, they are really overjoyed to see each other, because she follows you guys and helps you get him into a bed at Sutherland's place, which is actually kind of a large, somewhat old mansion, creaky and turned gray by the sea air, but it seems to be an old family home that he has occasionally maintained. So you have to brush the dust off of your beds, but it's all well furnished and still there. But Ariella actually sticks with you guys, and she and Eldan start reminiscing about old times over a cup of hot mead, which you guys are able to procure from a nearby shop.
Well, the only thing I really feel a strong need to do anymore to kind of wrap, I guess, this chapter is I want to talk to my dad about the crown, but I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing about it, so I'll let other people step in.
Actually, I kind of would like to hear that conversation. I would love to know what he thinks about that.
Well, based on the information he gave us last night, I've been really, really thinking hard about it, and I have some strong opinions, stronger than I had before, about what we need to do about the situation in West Head.
I mean, I for one don't have a problem with that. I think that's a good conversation to have.
Yeah, I think that's our next step. So
I think there are things we need to be doing out in the world, but we can't really, in good conscience, I don't think, head out there until something happens here. I mean, we have pirate captains blowing holes in the walls of inns. That's not something we can just turn away from.
Well, in that case, whenever my father thinks that he has the time and energy for a big conversation, I'll bring it up.
All right. Well, you guys, you need to rest after your long day of travel. Get rid of your fatigue. Sutherland is actually going to sleep in late the next morning, so you guys kind of take over his kitchen, much of which looks like it hasn't been used in a long time, and he has an extensive liquor cabinet and not much else. So you have to kind of hop out to the market or eat like trail rations, which you probably don't want to do. But you were able to cook up a splendid breakfast the next day. Everybody is feeling somewhat in better spirits. And Clara actually comes by to say hi, and she's actually beaming.
Oh?
She says, "Oh, good morning, everyone. I have brought some treats," and she gives you guys some West Head apple croissants, and which are basically apple pie turnovers in a croissant. She says, "I just stopped by the bakery this morning. Don't worry about paying me back. I forgot I had taken out a double indemnity on adventurer-related calamities on my inn ever since I started serving, particular breed of folk. And things are looking up for the Swithrana family."
So when you open your second inn, that's what you'll name the pirate hole.
Let's workshop it a little bit.
Okay. The pirate hole, but you have to spell it P-I-E.
Keep
Like
working
a
on
pie.
it. Keep working on it. I'm taking suggestions, but let's keep. There are no bad ideas. I'm going to go take a look around the menagerie and see how that's going. But you can find me there if you need to.
Did Frasher and Typha ever come to this place to spend the night?
Nope. They went to Stray's ship, and in their weird, way, they said they said they'll probably see you later, and did
And
not
then we
join
never
you.
called them where
But
we
they've
were
also
supposed to go?
they've been known to just sleep in an alleyway because they don't care.
Fair enough. Actually, if no one else has any other plans for today, I think that it might be worthwhile for us to go and see this menagerie for ourselves. Frasher and Typha did not ever come to see us last night.
She says, by all means.
We need to check up on them. Those two, they have a good head on their shoulders out in the wild. In the city, I'm not so sure.
Didn't they have some kind of business they wanted to conduct with Stray?
I think so. Hopefully they're okay.
Most likely. Those two never seem to come to harm. Unlike their poor friend.
What was his name again?
Ziklu, how could you forget?
I'm sorry, who are we talking about?
Never you mind, newbie. I do have lots of inquiries about the Wanderer's services. So if you want to chat about those, we certainly can. But I'm going to let you get to your breakfast now. And she heads off, almost skipping, even under the weight of her double indemnity gold.
Is Mr. Enderal up and about with us?
He is being helped down the stairs by Ariella at this point, who has also shown up.
Okay. I would like to ask him a question if if an opportunity presents itself. Obviously, not before he gets settled in and has some, starts eating.
Anything for one of my saviors, who was led by the great Bella Enderal.
Thank you, sir. I find myself in a rather precarious situation, a strange situation. You see, you of course know better than all of us the threat that we face, and yet I have been called by a dear friend. I've called to her aid, and I must admit that my heart desires to go to her and help her, but my brain is telling me that what is here is more important. And usually I try to listen to what my brain is saying, but I don't know. I suppose I thought perhaps you, with your clear years of experience on me, and perhaps better mind for such things as you are an artist, maybe could give me some advice as to what you think I should do. I'm loath to leave now, but I am loath to let her wait, make her wait.
Out of game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want me to tell you?
Well, I guess it's. I'm kind of. I think Draco is subconsciously applying to the romantic artist in this man. He. What Draco wants is for him to tell him that he should go.
Okay.
But
what does Nico want?
I mean, Nico wants an honest opinion, but I mean, I also would like for Draco to get a nice send off. We gotta get someone to tell him that it's okay and you're not a horrible, selfish person for doing this.
Okay, I guess we're doing this live. So Nico, are you trying to decide whether to keep this character or get a new one?
No. Well, I'm just trying to. Okay, so I do want to. I do want this Draco to say goodbye, but
okay.
I didn't want him to just by himself just decide that you know what, I'm going to. I kind of wanted. I wanted to at least have a conversation, even if Enderal says you should stay. I kind of wanted him to have at least one conversation about it to get another opinion other than just himself.
Okay, got it. Well, no, he thinks for a moment and he says, "You're asking me about a matter of the heart? My dear boy, there is no question of what you must do. You must write a sonnet. You must write a sonnet, and you must pour your heart into the words and express how you truly feel. Bring that sonnet to the young lady in question. And if the world must burn, let the world burn. You have a lady to pursue, and you must do it to the best of your writing ability. That is what I have to say." Meanwhile, Ariella is rolling her eyes behind him. And she says, when he finishes, she says, "Well, there's also a few practical matters to attend to. I don't really know what possible import, world-ending or otherwise, might hang on this decision. But I would advise, not that you asked me, I would advise you to wait and think about it."
Jacob will nod and say, "Both very interesting points of view, which is what I was looking for. Thank you. I do think I shall think on this."
That's Ariella, ever practical. I think Bella got the both of us.
I don't disagree. And Draco will kind of like he is a walker, like a walk thinker. So he kind of gets up and starts to move to nowhere in particular. He's just going for a walk to think about things some more. Oh, but I mean, he just said, "Thank you very much for your advice, both of you."
By the way, Bella, Elden keeps reaching out to kind of just, just kind of like grab your arm or like give you like a fatherly nudge now and again.
Yeah, I'm still sticking pretty close to, it's been a traumatic time.
He keeps asking you to pass the cream.
All right. Well, maybe this would be a good time to bring up something a little sensitive. So, first, I have to ask everybody in this room. Whatever we talk about here, it doesn't leave this room until we've come to a decision.
Well, you'd better let me get out of here then, says Captain Sutherland, coming down the stairs,
Right.
looking bleary-eyed. Feel free to use the house, just lock up when you go. And remember that I'm a friend of Clara Swithrana, who is our mutual friend. So don't steal anything. I'm gonna go find something to drink. And he stumbles out the front door.
Right. So, on that note, we seem to have come into possession of this. I'll pull out the crown. I know it doesn't look like much, but this is the crown of Westhead, the sacred artifact that bestows leadership of Westhead on whoever takes ownership of it. And I don't know what the hell we're going to do with it. But in light of the fact that, as Anda was telling us the other night, we seem to have quite a valuable thing on our hands in the form of the city of Westhead, and its apparent relative safety from certain of the enemies that we're going to be fighting.
Ha! Apparent! That's a pun, isn't it? Good one, Bella.
I mean, absolutely intended. But I think it would be useful to have some place where we could send people safely. And while Westhead might be that in terms of one danger, it certainly bears a number of other dangers. If we could turn it into a genuinely friendly city, insofar as any city can be free of trouble, if we can at least get rid of the extremely problematic leadership, it occurs to me that Westhead might be, in fact, extremely important in the mission that we have coming up. Does that make sense?
If I may, it certainly makes sense to me, but there is one concern that comes to mind, which, as Lord Enderal pointed out last night, given Westhead's nature as being safe from the organization we were discussing, that they might seek a change in leadership at some point. And given the activities that they've already shown throughout the city, or including the gang that you all dispatched before I arrived, we should be most cautious in how we decide to act with that object.
Indeed. I couldn't agree more. And I mean, I've been sitting on this object for quite some time, just mulling over what could possibly be done with it. But I certainly do have my own ideas, several of them. But I was hoping that now that we've added 2 more brains to the group in the form of my parents, who are a little bit more tapped into the political situation here, maybe we could get some fresh insight.
What sort of insight are you looking for?
Well, is there an obvious candidate?
I'm not so up on the politics here. What about you, Ariella? I am. Yes, there are several clear candidates. Since you ask, let's see. The crown of Westhead has not been seen in a long time, but I believe you when you say it confers certain rulership, and I've heard of it here and there. The most hungry candidate would be Drendon Moonling, captain of the Griffin Guard, not too far distant from the royal line, the old royal line, specifically de La Fontaine. He is related, albeit a little distantly, to the old royals. He certainly has been making a little bit of noise, and some say that he hired you to gain the crown.
That's somewhat true. He certainly has expressed interest in it.
Let's see. The most obvious choice, of course, would be to turn it over to the Duke. He's already in power. He just needs to cement and consolidate that power with a little bit more legitimacy. He would certainly be grateful, and although he rules with a bit of an iron grip here and there, he is known to richly reward those who turn their loyalties to him.
He's also known to attempt to murder Bella's mother.
I mean, I heard that. I don't know if you have any opinions on it, Mother.
Well, I don't hold it against him. We did put on the grand satirical play that got in a few good licks, if you will, before it was broken up. But that does bring me to one option, which might be Lady Thornsey. Now, she is nowhere near powerful enough to hold on to such a thing, but she did hire us, and she is strongly opposed to the Duke, as you might expect. And I would say overall is an interesting possibility, although she has never spoken of trying to take power, to me anyway. There is, of course, the Alligator crew, who is said to have a new leader amongst their ranks, and who have been stirring up trouble the last few days. Not that I would be a proponent of giving any sort of power to a gang member. I'm simply listing all the possibilities. Then there is the rebellion, the loyalists. Led by Uravin, a gnome of not so squeaky clean repute. They claim to have found a great-great-grandson of the old de la Fontaine family. But they are keeping him well hidden away from the city, so they claim. If I had to guess, I would guess that they have made an alliance with the elves out in their grove. Their mystic grove off the coast.
Well, those are all options. Do you have an opinion on Moonling? I've only met him a couple of times, and he impressed me as being a decent enough person, but I guess I'm sort of suspicious of anyone with political ambitions.
Quite right. I taught you well. Yes, I would be suspicious, but he does seem a decent enough young man. I don't expect he would be He's certainly not the worst choice. But other than ambition, I cannot say that he has demonstrated any negative qualities. He is a brave captain of the Griffin Riders by all reports. There may be other possibilities that I have not considered. I am simply listing the political figures who would vie for such an object, most obviously.
What about you, my lady?
You want to give me the crown?
If you can help produce a person of such high caliber as Arbella here, certainly do worse.
Well, I have... She looks at Eldan, who looks... His eyes are twinkling. I have a limited connection to any noble blood by prior marriage. So it would certainly be a challenging task to hold on to any power. Would probably take a longer time than I have years left. Then again, it does sound like glorious fun.
Well, I admit that I had thought something rather similar. I admit I thought of Father only because he's more directly noble, but if either one of you would be interested, of course I have a vested interest.
Similar story in that I have no direct claim, but I was made a lord by the last emperor to reside in Westhead.
Well,
Interesting.
then he seems to have thought very highly of you.
That would certainly give me a certain degree of protection were I to ally myself with, let's say, these exciting gnomish rebels, for example, who are so into their loyalist leanings. Perhaps they would accept me as a candidate until their de la Fontaine supposedly can make an appearance. And I could have Ariella, as perhaps you would consent to join me and help me navigate these murky waters of the city. My life would be in grave danger from the Duke's forces. But that's true already.
And we might be willing to pitch in a little bit on that front.
Oh?
I don't particularly like the Duke, and regardless who winds up with the crown, I'm pretty set on helping whoever it is overthrow him.
Ooh. Yes, I suppose overthrowing him would be necessary at some point. That would take quite a bit of doing, I'm sure, yes?
I didn't say I'd do it, I said I'd help.
You and your friends are strong, but... I would
If I may, it also does solve the problem of both removing eventually removing the Duke from power, as well as ensuring that the new leadership would not betray the city to that organization.
It would also ensure that I never had to travel by handcart again. Not that I'm complaining. That was a thrilling experience, but, well, I'd have to start establishing my status by riding around in a conveyance more suited to my, well, status. I think this is an interesting possibility. And I cannot deny that it would be an awful lot of fun.
I don't want to sort of dominate. I mean, I want the input of other people here. But I do think that, well, I personally know more about them, obviously, than we do about anybody else, and know them to be generally trustworthy, decent people who wouldn't ruin the city even further than it's already been ruined, which seems to me like a pretty good qualification.
I will be the playwriting king, and declaim from my throne the words as pearls thrown before the people. Look upon my works, and rejoice, for all the city's a stage, and the people within merely players. All of us must play a part, and it is my destiny, perhaps, to be the king. I shall be the director. Not only the playwright, but the director of the city. Saying, yes, here is your blocking, here are your lines. Let you go this way and that, and speak ceremoniously unto all. Yes, I am liking this very much.
I was going to say that I have no strong opinions on this because I've never been one for politics, but after hearing that, I am full proponent for the Lord Enderall campaign.
Ariella does this. It's going to be a challenge to keep this old man alive. What'd you say, Bella? Sorry. Your mother was talking about it.
I said you're included in this too, Mother.
Oh, yes. I suppose, we should remarry? Remarry? If you want, or you could be a concubine. That way, we each keep our freedom, but you have all of the political power, that I could grant. Yes, I should say, I may be the director of this city, but Ariella is our foremost actor. She plays the lead role of political strategist and chamberlain, if you will.
Okay, well, please don't have that conversation in front of me, but on every other point, it sounds like we're in agreement.
After all, it might be wise to keep my hand in marriage open. What do you think, Ariella? She says, yes, there are certain advantages to that. giving some ladies a hope and wanting to flock to your side, since they have no chance with the dead thing that currently sits on the throne. That is a possible important point among certain ladies of your potential court.
Well, I'm in hell now, and as far as I'm concerned, this crown is yours if you stop talking.
Oh, darling, if you're in hell, then yes. Let give it here.
I hand him the crown.
He says, he points at his head. I think it would be most appropriate, for you to place it upon my head.
I shall do so.
She sets the black crown down on his head. He says, did it work? Do I look good?
Fantastic.
I think I'm going to have to concentrate on it for a while for it to truly take effect. How can we test it?
I think you have to do something really charming and see if it's even more charming than you expect.
That would be a challenge. But I welcome it. You guys turn away, go about your eating of breakfast, and start making other plans. You have to kind of gather your gear and whatnot. And almost unconsciously, over the course of the next hour, you start feeling the urge to bow when you enter the room where he's sitting. You start...
Vapos just goes with it.
You stop referring to him as Eldan. You start unconsciously calling him it would be Your Grace. And then you hear this noise outside.
Oh no.
You hear this noise outside. When you peek out, you see there's a small crowd that has gathered outside. Common folk, as well as a few town guards. And when you peek your nose through the window, they start chanting, "Show us the king! Show us the king! Show us the king!" Well, isn't that interesting? How did they know I was here? I suppose that Captain Sutherland may have had something to do with it.
I suppose so.
Either that or that crown is a lot stronger than I thought it was.
Well, help me up. Let's go show them the face of their new lord and master. This is going to be lots of fun. And as you help him up, or Ariella does, she says, "Yes, it's time to make a statement." He starts going out, he starts declaiming a speech, much to the adulation of the crowd. And it's powerful stuff. It took effect. He is the king. Now he doesn't sit the throne. Upon the throne sits a vile and evil usurper. And it's hard to think of your father, Bella, any other way. The magic is so subtle and powerful. It just works. And as he's finishing up his grand speech, you start to hear a different sound. Clank, 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 clank. As though several huge armored figures were marching down the road this way. And with that, I think we are going to call it for this session. Well played, everyone.
That was a lot of fun. I can't wait for Draco to come back from his walk and just discover what the heck did you guys do?
Oh no, he's been here the whole time. He didn't go that far. No, he was the one who was like, I am in favor of this. This is the best plan we've ever had.
He came back in the middle, yeah.
I think he came back as Enderal was giving the speech, like in the building, like his like little manifesto, and Draco is just like, yes, I know what we're doing, and I agree. This is correct.
I'm gonna show something on stream. Yeah, you see, in my notes, it says, City of Westhead, Lord Rothdal. I'm going to change that. Lord Rothdal and Eldan Enderal.
They're buddies.
Great bard.
Maybe.
They'll become best ruling friends.
All right. Well, that is a dramatic turn of events. Your father is now the king of Westhead. And everyone seems to agree on that. They just don't agree about who is actually in control.
I'm sure it'll be a very polite discussion to hammer that out.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, absolutely.
In fact, you can almost hear the sound of hammers coming this way to do specifically that. You do, in fact, see. I guess you can actually see coming down the street. You can see what's coming, which I'm a great cloud, multiple clouds of dark magic. Guys, we are calling it here. So good night. Thank you very, very much for playing. I hope you had fun hanging out on a weeknight.
This was great.
Awesome. We will discuss, and we will certainly, we will not be playing on Saturday evening, but we will discuss about what the best time slot is going forward. Whether this is working for people, whether we need to shift it around in future weeks, we'll see. We have some new characters coming down the pipe. So the face of the Wanderers is going to be shifting around. Always exciting when a new book comes out, is published. Lots of lore stuff to update. I still highly recommend the highlight from the lore dump on Saturday's session. What else? I think that's it for now. So thank you very much to Jeremy, player of Breath. Thank you to M, player of Akiri. Thank you to Kirsten, player of Bella and daughter of the King of Westhead. Thank you to Nico, player of Draco, for the moment. Thank you to Corey, player of Vapos. You guys are awesome. Thank you to the man with no screen name for hanging out in chat. Anyone else who's in chat or who watches this later, you're awesome. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Well played, all.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, that was very fun.